Welcome back to the Toffee Blues, your source for all things Everton. Join us today, just the brothers McAllister on this preview for the West Ham United game at the London Stadium. Let's just get straight into it, Paul. West Ham United, what have you made of them this season? I know you've kept a little, quite a close eye on them because you're quite friendly with a couple of West Ham, fan social media accounts. What have you made of their season so far?
They're having the type of season that you look at and you just think that should, not that it should be us, but oh my God, how great would it be if that was us type thing, where it just feels like all the little things are going right for them. And even when they lose games, it doesn't feel like it's the end of the world or anything too deflating. They must be feeling the way we felt under Martinez in 2013-14, if not better, because they look like they're on course to finish it even higher than we did. So Party is happy for them because they are, they're a working class fan base. They're an honest fan base. They're not a club that's kind of mired in scandal or anything. Or, the owners that they've got there are bad idiots, aren't they? But they're only idiots to their own supporters. They're not idiots in the general football sense where they do wrong by other clubs and business or anything like that. So, yeah, you can't help but admire what they've done and admire what Moyes has managed to achieve down there, because 18 months ago, Moyes was an absolute loser who basically was just going there for one last payday and had failed in his last 3 or 4 jobs, whatever. And even Evertonians ourselves were turning our nose up at the idea of him coming back, which I still feel, yeah, if Moyes had come back to Everton, he wouldn't be doing for Everton what he's doing at West Ham. But it's just, you can't help but feel happy for him in the sense that he's kind of proven the way out wrong, and West Ham have proven the way out wrong, and they're shaking up the monopoly that is normally the top 4, aren't you? So, good on them.
Yeah, I mean, I'm like you. I've got a lot of time for West Ham fans. There's some good channels around them who I like sort of tacitly follow. West Ham Fan TV and Hammers Chat, 2 good eggs. But specifically on the pitch, like, let's get into that. Like, what are we up against West Ham? Like, when you look at the West Ham team this season, you go into this game on Sunday, what do you think we've got to worry about? What are we contending with? How do we beat them?
The midfield is their main strength, isn't it? I mean, that Souček he's been a cracking signing. He's basically, would you say he's Moyes' best signing since Tim Cahill or Mikel Arteta since the mid-2000s? He's on that level where he's made that much of a difference to West Ham side. Souček, when they brought him in.
He's one of Moyes' good signings, definitely. Moyes' track record in the transfer window, especially around like bargains, was exemplary at Everton. You could count on your hand how many bad signings he made. The comparison to be made with Souček, that he's like his upgraded version of Fellaini, which I can definitely see. But he has that same sort of like presence for West Ham. So you think Souček is the main man as anyone else?
Declan Rice as well. For years, I thought Declan Rice was just Jack Wilshere Mark II, where he's this player who will have 4 or 5 good games a season where he really stands out, and the London media are falling over themselves, making out like he's some superstar who belongs at a Champions League club, trying to force a move to Chelsea or United or whatever, and saying how he should be in the England team. And I was kind of just holding my nose up at that, like I do with a lot of those cases where I think, yeah, he's an all right player, but let's have it right. He's not a whale beater, do you know what I mean? They're making out like he'd fit into like a Chelsea side or a United side, and he's not proven anywhere near that level. But this season, he's basically backing it all up, isn't he? Looks like he's really kicked on. I don't know whether he just plays well under Moyes, or because he was good under Moyes in Moyes' first term, and then he did nothing under Pellegrini. So maybe he's just found the right manager. But we'll go on to our team news in a minute. But when you look at their midfield and the state of our midfield over the last couple of weeks, I was just dreading it, thinking they're going to absolutely have us off in the central of the pitch here. We're going to really struggle to get hold of the ball. We're going to struggle to feed the strikers. We're just going to lose all the 50-50s. If they get the first goal, then I could just see us getting hammered, no pun intended. So I was really worried about the central and midfield. And obviously there's the Lingard factor as well, considering he's in the form of his life. But yeah. Basically their midfield, they're all banging form and they're all fully fit. And that's the complete opposite of where we're at, aren't we? So what's your opinion of what players we should look out for?
Well, the 2 you've mentioned, obviously, I don't know whether Rice is fit yet, not 100%, but I would have mentioned them. Jesse Lingard's an obvious one. He's gone there and he's been a revelation. I wouldn't have had him in a million years at Everton, but if he, he's been, Virgin United fans, refer to Lingard as Messi Lingard. He always has spells of form where, like, they'd always say it'd happen in pre-season. He'd be amazing in the pre-season. Then when the real game started, he went off the boil. Where he's gone there, and he's unplayable at the minute. Another one who surprised me, I didn't rate him last season, and frankly, a lot of West Ham fans didn't, but he's been great this season, is Aaron Cresswell. He's there with Dean for the best, most amount of assists for a defender in the league. He's played, the left-hand side of a back three at times. He's played left back at times, which he's more natural at. It's been great. And there's obviously the other full-back, Soufal, or Koufal, however you say it. They've got, good, hardy Moyes players all over the pitch, and we, more than anyone as a fan base, know what Moyes players, are. And it's going to be a real test for us to get anything out of this game. Obviously, we've been well better away from home than we've been at home. So I'm actually going into this game more confident than I am for the Sheffield United game, which is mental considering where the two clubs are. But we'll come on to our team now. Obviously we've been quite complimentary at West Ham. We've had the team news today from Carlo Ancelotti. As expected, James Rodriguez is out, and quite frustrating, but I think that's what we signed, a player who's only going to be available for half the games, but he's influential when he is. But massive good news is Abdoulaye Doucouré is back fit. Only won one game since he's been injured, and that game that we won was a fluky own goal by the Arsenal keeper. So really glad to see Doucouré back. I think he's as influential in a different way than James is. So what kind of team do you expect us to play, and what kinds of performance are we going to have to put in?
Obviously, Doucouré is an absolute shoe-in to come back into the side, and if he wasn't going to be fit for this weekend, then I would never ever pick us to get anything. As I was talking a minute ago, I just thought we'd get absolutely destroyed in the midfield. But now that Doucouré's, so as Carlo says, he's going to be fit and available, then that will make a world of difference, and I'm hopeful now. So I'd want to see Doucouré and obviously Alan. I'd go for a 4-3-3 personally, and I'd play Davis in front of the back four, because Davis hit a good run of form and then got took out of the team when he didn't deserve to be dropped, in my opinion. And other players who've come in over the last few weeks, like Gomez and Iwobi, they've done absolutely nothing, less than nothing in some cases. They don't deserve to play now until the end of the season, barring injury emergencies. I can't be doing with seeing Andre Gomez just being a sloth in the midfield and getting swarmed and looking for safe passes. I can't be doing with Iwobi just running down blind alleys and turning backwards and, again, not looking to link up with anyone. Just, if we pick players who are slow and are just going to be repetitive in their play, they're just going to look through the same thing over and over again, then they're not going to make any difference on the pitch. And I never thought I'd say that about Gomez, because I remember, was it 2 years ago in the Silver? Probably had his best game at Everton down at the London Stadium, didn't he, when he absolutely bossed it. I think it was, we won 2-0 on the day, Zuma and Bernard. That was when everyone was convinced Andre Gomez was basically Mikel Arteta's successor. But in that 2 years since then, he's had that horrific injury. His forms fell off dramatically. I just really don't want to see Gomez on the side. If Doucouré's going to come back in, then play him next to Alan with Davis behind them, and just let Davis do all the simple tasks of taking the ball off the back four and feed it to the players in front of him. We don't need passengers in this game, and that's what Gomez and Iwobi for me would be.
Yeah, I can't really argue with any of that. I mean, Doucouré and Alan are, nailed on to start if they're both, fit, because you never know. Injuries at this club, you don't, wrap Alan in cotton wool now that Doucouré's fit. But so I think Alan and Doucouré will start. I put my life on Sigurdsson starting since James is injured. Obviously Richarlison, Calvert-Lewin. Then it's just, whoever comes in, depends on tactics. It could be Iwobi to make a wide right midfielder. Could be Gomez, and we play Sigurdsson further advanced behind the front two as a 4-4-2 maybe. In defence is where it's interesting, because there's going to be some decisions to make. Holgate's cost us a goal in the last home game. The home game before Spurs, Holgate cost us a goal, and Michael Keane cost us another goal. Yerry Mina's fit again now. So is it time we saw Yerry Mina and Ben Godfrey as a partnership. It's the only partnership we've not seen yet. Will we go back to a back three maybe? Will we go to 4 centre-backs across the back with Luca Dean or Coleman or both in front of them and go 4-4-2 and try and, make it compact? It sounds daft, but we won away at Wolves doing it like that. The defence is the big, selection area for me, the big, question mark and the decision to make for Carlo. Because I think the rest of the team, given injuries, more or less picks itself, but the back four doesn't.
It wouldn't be the worst idea in the world, trying the 4 centre-backs, would it? And going like we did against Wolves, as you said. But I don't want to see Seamus Coleman at right full-back, because I don't think he's got the legs anymore. I think if Coleman plays in our team now, he's got to be the right-sided centre-back in a free, or he's got to be a wing-back, so he can get the support on the wide areas. I just don't think he can play as an out number 2 anymore. Do you know what I mean? Just a right full back who can get up and down the length of the pitch and can chip in with crosses and getting in behind his opposite number and getting back on time to block the crosses himself, come to our box. So I'd like to see Mina and Godfrey in the middle. And I know he was absolutely terrible, and I've been slating him in the last few videos, and I think he should go in the summer. But if we're going to play 4 across the back, then I'd rather see Holgate at right back than Coleman personally, and maybe bring Coleman on if the game's going well and we just need a bit of experience to see it out. So I definitely want to see Godfrey and Mina in the middle, but I wouldn't have a massive problem if he goes to Michael Keane again, because Keane, I know he was very costly what he did against Tottenham, but he's been in tremendous form over the past year at least, hasn't he? So I don't see him coming in and making mistakes frequently. I think that literally just was a one-off for him. He was due a bad game, wasn't he? So the back 4, as I said, we can juggle it. We've got lots of options, but I think our best choice is to just go 4 at the back and keep it simple and compact, and maybe just throw Holgate there and just tell Holgate, look, just defend for this game. Look, you don't have to be coming out, carrying the ball out of defence. You don't have to be taking the ball off the goalkeeper. You don't have to be linking up with the midfielder in front of you. Just don't do any of that stupid, overcomplicated rubbish. Just get the ball or not get the ball out, just defend. Just mark the man who's running at you, the winger. That's all you've got to do, and let Godfrey and Mina handle the central areas.
Yeah, I mean...
Yeah, sorry. Sorry, I was going to ask, but I'll ask you this now, and then you make your point and then answer it. Would you be interested in seeing the diamond tried again, where we try Tom Davis in front of the back 4 with Alan and Takore, maybe Sigurdsson as a number 10, and try and Calvert-Lewin up front with Charleston or Josh King? So I'd like to see that tried again before the end of the season, because I think we only did it in maybe 1 game against, was it United away?
We did it against United away, and it wasn't very effective in the first half. We also did it against West Brom in the second half. But Alan was at the base of the diamond rather than Tom Davis. I wouldn't be against it. I don't think we've got the right-hand side to do that. I think you need that. You need your fullbacks to get up and down all game. If you've got a diamond, I like the diamonds in theory, but Coleman can't do that. And Luca Dean, though he can do that, is better with someone to, sort of work with on that side to create the space to get the cross. When he's the only one going up and down, he's easy to defend against, because he needs, he made his whole first season here with Bernard literally just being his wall pass. Bernard would take the ball, cut inside, do a little drop his shoulder, and then just play it back down the line for Dean. I don't think Dean's as effective without anyone on that side with him. And Coleman, he's got, in his prime, had more energy and more drive, more acceleration to play a right back role where he could go past without having a winger with him. But I don't think he can do it anymore. So no, I think if we were ever going to do that, we need to have different midfielders and different right back and a different right back to do it. So I wouldn't be up for it personally. But the alternatives not very good either. It's playing Richarlison wide, but I don't think he's as effective. And an even worse thing of playing a Wobie wide right. But
it is a suggestion, because I've seen a few people mention this on Twitter, and I thought to myself, you know what, considering the performances of other people over the last few weeks, it's probably not the worst shout in the world. Would you start Bernard? Because off the top of my head, I can't remember the last time he started a game for us, at least in the league. So do you think? I know it's unlikely he's going to be staying next season. I think he's one of those players who's nailed on to go because he would have went in January if the bidding club hadn't pulled out at the last minute. Would you say to Bernard, right, here's your chance, go and do something? For you haven't played a lot of football over the last few months. I've tried Iwobi, I've tried Sigurdsson in the wide areas. They haven't come through for me. It's your turn now. You go and see if you can make a difference because, again, one of his best ever games for Everton was away at West Ham that day when he scored his first goal for us. So is it worth a shout maybe if you're going to play wingers, starting with Bernard or?
Well, playing Bernard wouldn't be any worse than Alex Iwobi. I wouldn't forget it. Like he wouldn't offer any less than Iwobi does. He'd probably offer more because he's a better footballer. He's got more skill. Physicality wise, he struggles, but it depends on other players because who plays on the right, because there's no point putting Bernard on the right because he's crap there. He can't play there. So the reason Iwobi plays more games is probably because he will play on the right and can do it. I'll give him that. Iwobi's better on the right than Bernard is, but you'd have to play Richarlison right instead of left. And I'm not against that, but I've not seen much evidence of Carlo doing that. Like Silva did it on occasion, but if we were to play, say, 4-2-3-1 and have Richarlison right and Bernard left with Sigurdsson behind DCL, I could see that working, but I don't know. I can't imagine Carlo would change Richarlison's position around, who's one of his most important effective players, despite how terrible he was in the last game, to accommodate Bernard and get a game out of Bernard. So I don't think it'd happen now. I think we're more likely to see Iwobi on the right because I think that's what Carlo prefers.
I mean, I'd like to see Richarlison tried slightly wider again. I mean, he's not an out-and-out winger, but I don't believe he's an out-and-out number 9 either. I know a lot of people think he is and want to see him played there long-term, but for me, he's what Mane and Salah are at Liverpool. He plays in a front three. He's a wide forward. Do you know what I mean? Ideally, my perfect Everton team would be a 4-3-3 with Calvert-Lewin supported by Richarlison and someone else, a new signing maybe, and the middle three would be Alan, Decore, and hopefully another midfielder, and then you try and get Rodriguez in the team when he was fit. But trying Richarlison out wide right again, I don't think it's the worst idea in the world, at least not until the end of the season, because as you said, we tried Iwobi there and he stuck the gaff out how many times. Bernard is hit and miss, isn't he? There's some games where he comes in and he looks quite good and he's of use, and there's other games where he's just utterly anonymous. Sigurdsson's not got the legs to be a wide player. Even in his prime, he wasn't really a wide player. We tried him there in the first season under Koeman and Allardyce, and it didn't work. And I'm happy when Sigurdsson isn't in the team at all. Never mind in the team out of his natural position. So I'd like to see it, because Josh King, he's the elephant in the room for a lot of Everton fans. It's like, is this fella going to start for us once between now and the end of the season? Because if he doesn't, what was honestly the point of even bringing him in? If all he was going to play was maybe 5-10 minutes off the bench every other game, not even every game, just every other game when we're maybe chasing something. Because I can't remember the last time Carlo Ancelotti, or I don't even know if he has ever used Josh King in a situation where the game, everything was going to plan. He's only ever come off the bench, it seems, when we're just chasing a goal and it's just kind of throwing caution to the winds because we've got no other option. I want to see King start at least once, so I wouldn't mind seeing a 4-4-2 maybe and playing Josh King up there with Calvert-Lewin and see if they can do anything. Because Calvert-Lewin is a goal threat, isn't he? But there's too many games where he's isolated. It used to be like the old Lukaku and Kone situation where Kone wasn't a very good footballer, but he made Lukaku's job so much easier, and we got some really good important victories when we played those two together. I know Martinez didn't do it lots, but I remember every time he did try it, it always tended to work. So I'd like to see if Calvert-Lewin given a partner who's not Richarlison, because Richarlison for me hasn't got the discipline to be an out-and-out number 9. I think he wants to get on the ball too much and drops too deep and wants to dribble out wide a little bit, whereas to be a number 9, you've got to kind of stick close to your partner, haven't you?
Don't necessarily agree on Richarlison because I think he's better closer to the goal. I think he is a striker. I don't think he's good enough to be like what a Mane or Salah position is, like where he cuts inside, because he's very predictable when he cuts inside and it's easy to defend against. When he's in and around the box, he's lethal. He's good in the air. He's good, with the ball at his feet in tight spaces. But when he's got room to move into, he just sort of runs into the players. But that, to your wider point about Josh King, he's been brought in to do exactly what he's done, to be cover, to come off the bench occasionally when he needs to take a striker off. He's not been brought in to start, clearly, and he's not been brought in to make a huge impact. I would like to see more of him. I'm sure he could do better than some of the performances we've seen from Iwobi and some of them we've seen from Richarlison. But I think if we start into strikers, I don't imagine there's any chance we see King start over Richarlison or Calvert-Lewin. I think we're playing two and they're fit, they're going to start. Every time we've seen Josh King come off the bench, he's been playing on the left. He's come on the pitch before as a sub, replaced Calvert-Lewin, and Richarlison has gone off the left to up front with King on the left. So I don't know what it is about King in training, whether he don't think he's good enough off the ball or whether they don't like his work rate. I don't know, but he's not sticking around. He's been brought in to have a look at him, cover, and they've had a look at him, and he's covered, and that'll probably be the end of it. But I think we'll see him a little bit at the end of the season. If we end up with dead rubber games, like at the end, like last 2 or 3 games, and we can't get him anywhere, I think that's when you'll see him, and that's it.
You mentioned that maybe we might have just dead rubber games that have nothing on them. I really hope not, because if that is how it plays out, then I'm really going to struggle to even be interested in those games, to even watch them. If we don't win this game against West Ham, do you think Europe is completely gone? Or any hope of 7th if we don't win this, get 3 points?
You know what? No. We're running out of games, but this season is so crazy that we could lose this game, and then the other teams around us could lose as well. It's not over until it's mathematically over, because there's no banker games. You can't point at we're chasing Liverpool, say. You can't look at them in an Anfield game and go, well, they'll win that, because it doesn't work like that. You can't look at our Goodison games and go, well, we'll win there, because it doesn't work like that. So it's the most unpredictable season ever. I know that's a cliche, but it really is. I've said twice that Europe's gone, and then 2 days later or a day later, teams around us have lost games as well. It's still back on. So if we're going into the Man City game needing points, then it's over. If it's wrapped up by then that's the only way we're getting it, because I can't see, no matter how much we need it, or how much they're on the beach or waiting for the Champions League final, rather, I don't see us beating Man City. They're just too good. So if we need the points going into the Man City game, then forget it. But if it's, if things fall kindly for us, if we win, if we go on a little run, because this team is capable of it after losing so many, if we go on a little run at the end of the season, then we need to get this sewn up before we play City, because they're the hardest game anyone's going to have.
Well, as you said, we're running out of games. I think we've got this and then 4 more, haven't we? I said about a week ago, before we played Aston Villa, that of the 6 games that we had left, we needed to get 3 wins, because we're on 52 points, and 61 points would surely get us Europe, 7th place at least. Now, we've lost to Aston Villa, so that's gone. So we've got 5 games now, and then after this, we've got Villa away, which I'm not confident at all, considering how they've just absolutely ran us off the park, and they're going to have their best player back by then, most probably, because apparently Jack Grealish is very close to returning. We've got to play City away, which is a no-hoper, as we've just discussed, and we've got to play, who else away? There's another one.
Wolves at home, Sheffield United at home.
No. Yeah, we can win those 2 feasibly. That will get us 6, you'd hope. There's no banker, as you said, but after this, we've got to play Villa away and City away, and I don't fancy us getting a win in either of those games. Maybe we could sneak a point in one of them, but I think if we get 6 or 7 points between now and the end of the season, it's just not going to be enough. So we're going to need 3 here, at least for me. We're going to need 3 against West Ham, we're going to need 3 against Sheffield, and we're going to need 3 against Wolves. If we lose this game or draw it, and then maybe win one of our home games and then draw another game and ends up only getting maybe 5 or 6, it's just not going to be enough. I understand what you're saying. Our teams are dropping points and slipping up as well, and you can't predict any results. But I just can't see how we get Europe if we finish on less than 60 points. I really can't.
I've seen us finish on 70 odd points and not finish in the Champions League, so you just don't know. But anyway, the best place to start is the next game. So I'm going to ask you for the prediction now. What results you predict?
I'd absolutely love it if we won, I really would. It'd be just as buzzing if we did as it was when we beat Arsenal, even though that game has a lot more historical significance on it because we haven't won there in so long. But if we go and beat West Ham, who were probably the most informed team in the league other than City and Chelsea, then I think it would just be massive in terms of belief, and it would suck you back in. It would get Everton fans hopeful again, and hope is the thing that kills you, isn't it? So as much as I'm desperate for us to win, I'm going to go for a 1-1. If Decore wasn't back fit, then I think we wouldn't have a prayer. I just think they'd absolutely leg us off the park. But with Decore back, I think he'll make a big difference, and I'm going to go for a draw. Scores raw, 1-1.
Yeah, I wish I'd gone first instead of you because I'm the same. I'm going to predict a 1-1. Win would be vital. Can't keep drawing, but they're a very good team, West Ham, and they can't see them dropping the ball at this point. I think they're going to probably finish the season strongly, and if they get Europe, then they'll deserve it. I don't begrudge them it one bit. They've been well managed this season. Got a good little team there. They've managed to get a rhythm going, get something going at West Ham. And, if it's not us, then I'm happy for it to be them. So that's everything I've got to say basically about that. Anything you'd like to add before we wrap up?
Not really, but if we do, if we don't lose this game, then I at least want to see us scoring a bit, because it just feels like this season, Calvert-Lewin's got the majority of the goals. Richarlison had that little run a few weeks ago, but it just feels like a lot of the midfielders haven't contributed anywhere near enough. Iwobi doesn't get any. I don't think Bernard scored a goal all season in any game he's played, other than that FA Cup one. I don't think he scored in the league, or Diaz, it was ages ago.
Hardly played, to be fair.
Yeah, but Gomez hasn't scored. Sigurdsson only scores penalties. It just feels like a lot of players don't chip in enough. So I want to see someone other than Calvert-Lewin score. I really do, because if we're going to build long term and players want to stay here for the long term, they need to start contributing more than just XG stats. Do you know what I mean? So I'd really like it if we scored a really good team goal where Evertonians are made up and it's not just one of these set pieces, or we just lump it forward to Calvert-Lewin and he gets his head on it. I can't remember the last time we scored a goal where I think, oh my God, I'm going to replay that over and over on Twitter. It was just gorgeous to watch live. Maybe the derby, that one where Rodriguez put Richarlison through when he finished at the Anfield Road end. But since then, it just feels like we haven't scored any proper great team goals that everyone just loves replaying. So I hope we get to at least see one of them.
Yeah, you're not counting that one that your best mate Sigurdsson scored against Tottenham, because that was beautiful.
When was that?
Tottenham, Sigurdsson finished off. Yeah.
Yeah.
Sigurdsson.
Yeah, no, that went out of my mind. But you know what I'm like. I can't physically will myself to give Sigurdsson any credit. Honestly, it'd be like asking Donald Trump to say something nice about somebody who's not been nice about him.
Well, Joe Biden. Yeah, I'm not quite on the same page with you there. I'd take 5 more 1-0s, and they were all like that. Richarlison, like keeper Bird Leno on goal at Arsenal. I'd have the scruffiest, smelliest goals ever if we just won all the games. But we'll see. But anyway, that's it for us. It's a collector's item, Toffee Blues preview of the brothers McAllister, as Jerry likes to call us. Yeah, so a bit of a somber, sort of guarded prediction from the two of us, both gone for 1-1 and paid a lot of compliments to West Ham. But that's it for us. Until next time, thank you very much for watching us on the Toffee Blues. Take it easy.